Hi folks! Do you remember this cute penguin that I made earlier? Well, this time I'm gonna surprise her with a Sami hat. Let's pop it on. It goes on like that. Oh, doesn't that look cozy? Now this hat comes from the Samis, and the Samis lives up in the northern part of Norway in a wonderful place called Finnmark. Now, come on closer. I'm going to show you how to make this hat. You're going to need a toilet roll, some glue, a cutting knife, some paints, brushes, and, well, hey, that's about it. Let's get started. First, we fold the top bits towards each other so that the edges, the ends meet like this. Now, as you do that, keep pushing in the sides like this, you will form a nice curve on both sides of the roll, you see? So keep on pushing and shaping the soft walls of this toilet roll, and then squeeze a bit and bend a bit up on the tips there. Try to make the two levels here equal so that they meet and match. But it doesn't have to be perfect, because a Sami hat is quite floppy, so it doesn't need to have that sort of total perfection. Now, that's good enough, I think. And then we squirt on a generous layer of glue, and then we smear it all across into the little cracks and into the little gaps there, all over the top here and around the tips as well, because when you glue up the tips, they become stronger and more durable, so, and also easier to shape later on. All we got to do now is to wait for the glue to dry, and that can take a while if the glue is applied really thickly. But when it's dry, it will look something like this. So this is all dry now, and we are ready to cut. So we measure about 3.5 centimeters from the top of the curve, so or the bottom of the curve, however you want to say it. But from the curve here, about 3.5 centimeters down there, that's where we are going to make the cut. Now, I've made a little secret tool here. It's a toilet roll ruler. So when you pop it on like that, adjust it to your mark, you can then draw a line right around the whole tube so that you have a guideline for the cutting. Now, we cut away from the fingers, keep on turning the roll, and then drag the knife along the top, and then nice and easy. Don't try to cut through the whole thing right away. Be patient and maybe go 2 or 3 rounds before you cut through the cardboard. That is to have a nice and safe way of cutting. There. Now we have the shape of the hat. Okay, we can bend a bit, make sure it's nice and soft and a bit sort of floppy. Yeah, that's good. Let's get the paint out. We start with blue. Generous amount of blue. And don't be stingy on the paints here. Fill up the little cracks and stuff with paint. That'll make it look nice and solid. Apply it nice and thick. Not too thick so it runs, of course, but just thick enough for it to look good. Now, as you go down, go a bit careful so that you make a stripe. You leave a stripe of cardboard around the whole hat. The stripe is flexible as to how thick it is or how wide it is, roughly about 1 centimeter. There. This needs to dry a bit before I add the next color. Now, let's add the next color. Red. Now, normally I would add 2 layers of each color, but since I'm doing this just to demonstrate for you, I'm using 1 layer. But normally 2 layers will give it a more even and solid look to the color. Okay, adding on the red, following the edge around really carefully. And as I do this, I also add red to on the underside, like that. If you like to, you can paint it inside as well. That will give it a cute sort of look. That's up to you. So you follow the stripe of cardboard all around the hat, and then you let it dry, and you will end up with a hat like this. Let's swap this in. You see here I have even painted the whole inside, so it looks really nice and cute from all angles. Now let's add some patterns. Then I'm going to use my super small brush and start with white paint. In the middle I'll add a sort of squiggly line, up and down like this. There. Then I wipe off the brush, and then I bring in a white and yellow mix. Just a little bit of that, mixing it all together so that the yellow will cover the red that is underneath. And then doing just a plain stripe along the edge here. There. Now it needs to dry before we can add the lacquer on top. Now, all dry. You may have noticed that this hat is looking a bit shinier and glossier. That's because it's got a coat of lacquer on it. So if you want to keep your hat just like this, matte, that's fine. Or if you want to look more like that, you add some lacquer. So here's the lacquer, and that is normal acrylic lacquer that they use to lacquer, acrylic paintings, or basically anything painted with acrylic paints. You can buy it in hobby stores, paint stores, and art stores. Just a nice and even coat. Notice how it brings out the freshness and the brightness of the colors, especially on the blue. I think is getting a very nice shine to it. And that's finished. Now let me bring in another penguin to fit the hat onto. Oh, nice. Now we have 2 penguin Sami friends that you can play with. Hey! Now we just need a reindeer. Coming soon to a YouTube near you.